when I was first trying to come up with a title for this video, it was hard because I wanted to, as a writer, I wanted to be creative and think outside the box and write, put a new terminology on something and be memorable. But all I could come up with was grief is a weird thing. And I thought, why? Thing? That's such a weak word. But then I realized, no, thing is the perfect description for grief because you can't put a finger on it. You can't totally describe it. It doesn't fit in any box. It doesn't have sharp corners or edges, although everything is sharp about grief, but it hits at different times. So this is grief is a weird thing. Yesterday I took my little dog to the park for a walk, and as we were getting closer to the driveway to drive in, I saw what I thought was a boot or something in the middle of the road, and it moved, and a head popped up, and it was a skunk. And I thought, I didn't see blood. I thought, well, he seems to have stopped in the middle of the road and is confused about which way to go, and I very carefully avoided him because nobody wants to hit a skunk. We went into the park and we had a walk. And during the walk, in the mist and the rain and the chilly temperatures, I started getting calls from my kids. And they were all asking if we were all right, if we were safe, because there'd been a mass shooting nearby. And then we found out where the mass shooting was. And it's a place with many connections to people I know and love, past and present and future. And I thought, this is not good. I have to get home, but I know when I get home, it's going to be worse. This is going to be a horrible, horrible time. And I walked back to the car as quickly as I could, got my dog in, prepared to be horrified and sad and grieving, but sort of waiting till I was home to know exactly what we were facing. As I pulled back on the road, the skunk was still there, but it was on its side and it was suffering. And this is a little black humor, but people often will hit an animal that's been hit and is not dead yet and is in pain. They'll often hit it to put it out of its misery. You don't want to do that with a skunk. We couldn't help the skunk. It was dying in the middle of the road. There was nothing I or anybody else could really do without severe consequences. And I saw that skunk and the grief that I was holding in abeyance for when I got home to hear more about this awful event hit. And I started crying for this dying skunk. And I knew it wasn't just for the skunk, although I don't like to see animals or anybody in pain. But I wept for that skunk and prayed that God would just end its misery soon. And I realized how helpless we are in the face of misery. And we can't stop it and we can't fix it. And all we can do is pray. Maybe change things. Can't teach skunks not to cross the road or to get sick. There's a lot of other things we don't have control over, but grief is one of them. And it comes up in weird times and weird manifestations, and grief is a weird thing.